Hey guys, welcome to Traditional Bow Hunting and Wilderness Podcast. This is Jason Samkovic, and today we're going to do a fun episode, something I've been looking forward to. We are going to talk about my favorite knives, and I own a lot of knives. This is only about a third of what I actually have, and you know, when you're into the outdoor stuff, you seem to collect a lot of them. And today we're going to talk about what ones are my favorite and why and what sizes that I really like, and then so I can kind of break them down for you. You will notice a pretty common thing against most of my favorites. These three here are not in my favorites category that are back here, but they show some examples of some stuff here for you too. But I'm going to zoom you in here. We're going to take a look at them. There will be links down below for these different knives and how you can find out information on them. None of them are very expensive. They all serve an absolute exact purpose and fill that niche very well. And, you know, I mean, some of them overlap each other, but these are what I consider my favorite knives for a lot of reasons. And we're going to break them down and go through it and show you what we got here. So, for me, it's just a fun little show and tell, but it talks about some of the things that are mandatory for me. I will talk about in a blade, which is going to be at different levels. There's certain things that I needed to do at different levels that I want from it, and I'll break those down as I'm showing you each individual one. And I hope you enjoy this. Like I said, it's kind of a fun one. I just got done resharpening most of these, getting them ready, and I just something and oiling them up and things that I do every year, and I just got done doing it and stropping them all, and thought I'd perfect time since I had these out to go through and do a video here for you. So, all right, let me reframe the camera, bring you in a little tighter so we can talk about it a little bit. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and break into these and show you what some of the things are. Now, I had a couple guys on some of my knife comments give me this, well, why would anybody do anything other than a tabletop review? So I zoomed in closer for you for a tabletop review, but I'm not putting a camera over my shoulder and me trying to hold this and show you that. So this is what you get. You don't like it, you know, get over it. I don't want to hear it. But anyway, what we have here, starting biggest to smallest. Okay, we have cold steel kukri, or however you say it here. I have a bunch of these. They are dirt cheap. They are not expensive. They are flawless in every possible way. This one here, as you can see, I use the crap out of it. I use this around my house all the time. I live in the woods. We got roots that we got to take care of. We got things we got to, I mean, I use this thing so often. You can see the shape it's in. It's been through the ringer and back. It has never failed. It's pretty indestructible. If it does bend, you can bend it back. You can see the spine is all wrecked out on that thing from me batoning it, hitting it against things, chopping things backwards, hitting metal nails with it. The thing just goes through the ringer. They're not expensive, and it is a solid functional tool. And I also carry this one here. I have another sheath for it that rides right on my quad, and then I also carry one in my truck. This is the one that actually goes in my truck when I go on hunting trips and things like that. I don't carry it in here all the time, but this one here, and it just comes in very handy as well too. This one used a few times, not as often, but it does come in handy. And then I made a sheath for it here. Right there, just a Kydex sheath, just something sweet, simple, and easy. But this kukri is very, like I said, just very indestructible, ultra lightweight, and it serves its purpose incredibly well. It is a solid chopper. You can see I've sharpened mine many times, and I usually keep this in here pretty sharp on the inside right here in the belly, so I can use it for fine detail work, and this is the blunt spot I use for chopping. But it is an incredible tool, and it is dirt cheap in price, and it's just phenomenal. It comes with a nylon sheath that you stick it in. It's got two straps that go over the back. I don't have you know, I might actually, you know what, I'll pause this real quick and I'll go grab one and show you what that comes like, because I got a bunch of these. I'll go grab one new one and show you what that looks like as well too. Okay, I just went and grabbed one. Here is what the actual sheath looks like for this, and it is a 2-snap right here, and then it comes out of the back side of this. There is what a brand new, never used, right there, cold steel kukri machete, made in South Africa. Right there you can see, like I said, never even been used before, and what it looks like. And it doesn't come super sharp. Like I said, I've sharpened mine up, this one here, but they're incredible. They're just built like a tank, so tough, so affordable, so multifunctional as far as being able to use for pretty much anything in the field that you need. Can actually take the place of a hatchet and do an incredible job. They're just phenomenal. The sheath is, like I said, still fully functional as well too. I'm a bigger fan of my own sheaths, like I said, so I make my own with this Kydex one. I just put that right on my belt right here, and I hang it right on my belt like that, and because of the angle, it just works perfect right on my belt. When I need it, it's right there, and I have it. And like this one here, you can see the sharpening I was telling you about. A little more blunt here, and then nice and razor sharp right on the inside of that belly. That is scary sharp right there, and that works for all my fine tuning work. But it's just a very functional tool, well worth having, and very dirt cheap in price. Highly recommended. It's a great tool to have. Also would make for a great home defense weapon as well too, or anything like that, just to have in your car is something you might need. But I mean, a very serious weapon for anything, but also a very solid tool. It is a do-it-all, get her done and get her done good for a dirt cheap price that you can put your life on, because you're not going to break it. You could almost, I mean, you could bend this in a vise probably. You know, I watched videos back about 6-8 years ago. There was videos where there were guys bending this thing almost in half and it's springing back. I mean, you're just, it's a never failing tool. That's the beauty of it. They never fail. One thing you will find in common across all of my favorites is they will not fail. I mean, you could break them, but the odds of failure are very slim because of the properties of them and the steel used in them, which is for most everything on here $10.95, because I really like it because it's predictable, it's very strong, very durable. But this is that Kuyu or Cold Steel Kukri, or however you say it. Kukri, weird names, but that's what that is. And like I said, absolutely awesome tool. Again, there's that original sheath version of it right here, but it is a fantastic tool to have. Now, going down from there, my original. Now this I still consider a favorite because I like the size of it. This is my Rat number 7. And you can see it's actually still, it's actually got a couple spots on there from, that's actually salt from me using it when we were actually in camp last time and cutting up meat. I probably didn't clean it good enough, so I got to kind of clean those couple spots off of there. But you can see I use the crap out of this knife. This knife has been through the ringer and back. I don't own a knife that I don't use. You will see that common thing. I am not somebody who's going to buy a knife and then just do a tabletop review of it and show you what it looks like without using it. Now, I'm also not the kind of guy that needs to take you out in the woods and use them and then have to show you how I use them and resharpen them and all that kind of stuff. So it is what it is, believe me or don't. But as you can tell, they get used a lot. This Rat 7, I love it. It's a very lightweight. It's actually lighter than my SE6 is. And it is well balanced and perfect on there. I love everything about this knife. I'm not going to lie. It's by Ontario, USA. I like the size of the blade being a little bit longer. Great jimping, great quality, $10.95 steel. I absolutely love this knife. The reason I like the SE6 a little better, I wish this knife was this size. I wish there was an SE7, but the 6 is close enough and does such a good job, and I think the heat treat being a little better on there or something, but it holds better edge retention. But I mean, if you look at an SE6, which is what we have here, compared to that 7, you can see they are not too far off in, where you at there on there camera-wise, not too far off in size. As you're seeing here, they are very similar in size, so it's not too bad or too much of a deal. You know, this 6 is my absolute favorite for survival stuff. Now the 7, like I said before, I had the 6. This was my go-to for that. As far as any survival building, shelter building, survival knife, have to have where you're in the woods relying on your knife for all the stuff you're doing. When we go camping, I make a lot of neat things when I'm out camping with a knife, from cordage to bows to structures to forts for the kids to you name it, I'm using it, and this is the knife that always did that. It has been replaced with this SE6, which is a awesome knife. This one here being my favorite. This one has made that 7, that Ontario Rat 7, kind of go to the wayside and get kind of left out. Now, I still take it places because I love it, but I do like this one better, that SE6. This, the edge retention on here is a little better. Still both $10.95, but this one, for whatever reason, maybe it's just the way I sharpen it, but it seems to hold an edge better. But I do like the scales on this. I like the handle in this. It's very rounded and contoured and in my hand for doing a lot of stuff, especially like making a bow, you know, working arrows or whatever we're doing out there when we're camping, shelter building. But when I'm using this a lot, I'm really comfortable with this knife in my hand. Where this one, not bad, but you can see a couple years ago I actually even put rubber on there to make that a little better for me and hold end better, but it's a little square, a little more of a kind of a bulkiness to it. Great knife, but like I said, I honestly think this one has taken over and replaced it as my favorite in that survival knife size. Also, this is the first sheath I ever made. was that one right there. This sheath that I made for this 7 is my very first sheath, and I make my sheaths a certain way on purpose. With the way this is set up, I can carry this horizontal carry because of the way I have the loops on here. I can run it horizontal. I can run it vertically. I am left-handed, so I can remove this dangler out of here and run it horizontally across there if I wanted to, like that. Or I can run it on a dangler right here, like this, and have that carry right on my side. This is how I normally do it. I just stick them right through my belt. It's just so sweet and simple to take this knife, take my belt, and undo that one loop like that, and then just throw this on here. Usually I put it back off to the side more, but to throw that on there, and that's it, and that hangs right there, and when I need it, I have it right here. And I can use it, do what I want to with it. Usually I have it over on the side a little more, but I'm not taking my belt through the loop. But that's it, sweet, simple, and easy. And it carries it right out of the way. Off here on the side, I'll put it over there. But usually it's off right over here, just like this, cross draw type position. It doesn't dangle or it doesn't bounce around because it's leaning against me, but I carry that knife just like that right there. Sweet, simple, easy, there when I need it when I'm in camp doing stuff. So that's the reason I have my sheaths. Actually, I'm just going to leave that on for right now, but that's why I have that sheath design. All of my sheaths I make that way. I can carry them horizontal carry, I can carry them vertical carry, or I can carry them in a loop carry like I'm wearing this one, or I can also take this loop that's through here, pop this off like this, and then I can just take this knife and put that loop right here through my belt, and then I can tuck it right into my pants where I'm at here like this, and just tuck it in like this any way I want on any kind of angle, and have that loop go right over my belt and just hold it right in my pants just like that too. So my sheaths that I make give me a versatile option of how I want to carry them, and I really like that. Plus I can strap them on any pack or anything like that. Now in reality, usually they just go in my backpack, but it does give me those options. But that SE number 6, my ultimate go-to, what we would call a survival knife, a structure building, a bigger woods knife, that would be the knife that I would carry. This would be if I only had to have one knife with me, it would be this SE6. This is an incredible, awesome knife that just, like I said, never lets you down. The abuse this knife will take is on par with anything out there that's workable. There are probably stronger knives, this one here probably being one of them, but again, there's a major sacrifice with that. Where this one is got the combination of never let you down, really not going to fail you, and it is going to do the job you want, and it sharpens fast and easy in the field, which is what I really like about it. So that SE6, incredible knife. Now, that takes it, I am going to take this off here, right, because I don't want to be banging it into furniture here, but in the 7, or the Rat 7, fits into that category as well, too, and it's probably a little less money now. I don't know, I haven't bought a Rat 7, and probably, that's probably 10 years old since I bought that one, but both fantastic options. Now, that takes us to the Becker BK2. Okay, here's what mine looks like right here that I use all the time. You can see I put different scales on it. I actually did my own jimping on the back here, right up here. I did that with just a Dremel, but so I got a little, because I'm always on there with my thumb. I've taken the coating off of the blade. This thing has been beat, abused, and put through the ringer. Here's what it actually, the sheath on it's really good though. And you can see I set it up the same as how I always do my sheaths. So it's the exact same setup. Now when you look at a new one, which is right here, okay, same thing. I set my, it does come with buckles on there, but I set my sheath up the way I do it with the paracord. That's the way I like it. But you got same exact thing with ivory. These are the black, whatever they call it, jivery or something they call them, scales, but it's pretty good, but they're a little more slippery. So I went with the micarta. The micarta adds some weight, but this knife is dirt cheap in expense, but it is a 1/4 inch thick blade on this. So like if I pull out even this SE6, and if you look at the thickness of these blades, look at how thick that difference is. Where's the center of that camera so you're in focus? Look at the thickness on those blades right there. Pretty insane. That's a 1/4 inch thick piece of steel. What this basically is what many people refer to as a sharpened pry bar, and that's what it is. This thing here, and why I love mine so much, this is like the ultimate truck knife right here. This is a ultimate urban survival kind of a knife in my opinion, because it will let you pry. It will let you chop. This thing will chop as good as any hatchet out there. I promise you, the thing's just insane. Which is what mine is used for mostly, which is this one right here. In camp, it serves its purpose as a hatchet, and it is awesome at it. But this thing is about as indestructible as they come of any kind of knife. So in an urban environment where you're going to be opening doors, breaking into cars, you're going to be doing all kinds of stuff like that, this knife is going to be my favorite go-to knife for that, because it is small enough to use or to carry, and carry however I want to. It is strong and will never let you down. It holds the edge pretty decent, but it will take the abuse that you're going to put it through, and you can resharpen this on any ceramic, on any windows, on a top edge of a car window, on the bottom of a coffee cup, even on a rock if you wanted to, and you can put an edge back on this. So to me, there's a lot of qualities. Plus you got the hammer on the back of it being 1/4 inch thick. You could actually use that as a hammer. So this thing is indestructible. A glass breaker, you name it. This knife can take the abuse of what urban survival situations would be, which is why this one is in my car all the time and used a lot in camp. Like I said, I don't ever have a knife that I don't use. I would never just buy this knife right here brand new like this one. I would never buy this and just take somebody's word for it and throw it in my car. I use and beat them and abuse them. This one rides in my pickup truck. This one this one rides in my pickup truck all the time, under a seat. It's there every day, constantly. This one rides in the trunk of my my Renegade, so it's always with me there too. But I don't have a car that does not have a Becker BK2 in it. They are not expensive, and like I said, it is the ultimate urban survival knife, in my opinion, where you're dealing with man-made objects and things like that, and you're going to need a blade that can do it. 1/4 inch steel, indestructible, tough as nails. Like I said, just hard to beat. My favorite wilderness survival knife, that SE6. My favorite urban survival knife, that Becker BK2, again, 1/4 inch thick. Now SE has their 5 is very similar to this too. Now I've never used one or bought it, but I don't want to spend as much money as the SE5 is. I can get this for literally half the price of what an SE5 is, and this one does exactly what I need it to. So, and again, I hope to never have to be in major urban survival situations, but if it comes up for the dirt cheap price of getting one of these Becker BK2s, it's worth me having them in my car. I trust it that much and believe in it. So, and like I said, even in camp, it makes a heck of a camp knife and will replace a hatchet if you don't want to carry a hatchet with you. So that knife serves an incredible purpose. It's a great option. So now that takes us down to the next size smaller. This is kind of, these two fit in the same category. This one I really like, okay? This is the Tops Bob Brothers of Bushcraft, the original full-size one. As you can see, I use mine, okay? They get abused and used and beat up, and it's proven to be a very solid knife. I could care less about the bow drill dimple in there, because I know how to use a bow drill and how to make one, and I don't think I'd use it with my knife. I could care less about the fire striker on there, because most likely I'm not leaving the thing in a sheath like this to strike fires and try and do that and try and use this for it. I would never try to start a fire with my blade open, with that blade flinging around. So I could care less about that as well too. I would just use that part of the blade like I do when I run a fire striker. I could care less about that little 1/16 of an inch that striker is going to hit right there, and I'd run my fire strikers just like that. I do it with every knife on here, split fire strikers many times, and it works perfect. So some of the things on here feature wise I don't really care about, but the knife is solid. It is very lightweight, very slim design. I like that, very functional, and it serves its purpose very well. And again, 1095 steel from Tops with a perfect differential heat treat. We are talking about a knife that is very indestructible. Now, along with that, again, my sheaths made the same way I just got done showing you. You have an SE number 4. The SE4 is my absolute all-time favorite. Now, when you look at these two side by side, the SE4 is just a smidge thinner blade size or design, and you can see it is just a little bit smaller. Okay, a little shorter in the handle, and it is a touch shorter. Let me put it ricasso to ricasso cutting area. Very similar in blade size, okay, blade dimension. But it is a touch shorter in the handle back here, as you can see behind my hand. And I'm okay with that, but I really love that SE4. I like the ability to choke way up on that blade because of that choil right there, so I can get way up on there and really do good fine detail cross cuts, or I don't even know, they got special names for all this crap now. Back in the day, we just cut things like this. Now I guess there's a term for it, so I don't know how all that works, but I love that SE4. These two fit into about the same category. Okay, and I bought this because I wanted to try it and love it, and I do, but I still think my SE4, for my hands, my size, and having that ability to choke up on that choil, the SE4, in my opinion, wins. But make no mistake about it, that I do believe not only is this an incredibly tough knife, this SE4, and I would trust it for any situation. If you were looking for a knife that would do it all, which would be a great field knife and also a rock solid durable urban knife like we were talking about with this Becker BK2, I believe this Tops Bob would be the one because of that thicker blade design. So you have that little bit thicker of a blade. You also have a Scandi, modified Scandi grind, which means you got a lot thicker spine. This is a flat grind, so the grind starts at the blade and works all the way up to the spine. Where this one, you can see the grind starts there and only goes halfway up the spine, leaving all this thickness of steel in here. So in an urban environment, I believe this Bob would be a better option because of the fact that you would have a stronger blade, again, for doing things you should never do with a knife. I think this one would hold up. But again, this one, even being a flat grind, would be so close in comparison. This is such a great knife. But in the field, if I only had to carry one knife, I would carry this one here too without fail. It's my ultimate favorite knife for a couple reasons, but this one, same exact concept. I like it a lot as well too, and if I was going to spend most of my time in an urban environment or a combination of the two, and I didn't have the options of a Becker BK2 and some other things, this knife would serve that purpose for me very, very well. I would have no issues carrying it. I really do like this, that Bob, that Brothers of Bushcraft knife. Now with the SE4, what I really like about this and that Bob is they are compact enough that I can stick this right in my pocket. This is almost considered, it would be too big to be an EDC knife, but I could. On a horizontal carry with this, this doesn't take up a lot of room if I wanted to horizontal carry this knife, or if I wanted to just tuck it and stick it in and have that strap go through my belt like that. I mean, there's a lot of different things I can do with this knife, and it takes up so little space and so little weight. This one here also fits that category, but you can see the size gets quite a bit bigger in a sheath. When you look at these, let me stand them up here, right, like that, so you can see. But when they stand there, you can see the size difference of that because the handle size and stuff on that that Bob, that Tops Brothers of Bushcraft. But fantastic knife. But that's kind of why I always had a sweet spot in my heart for this SE number 4. Now this one, as you can tell, has been beat. This used to be a light tan colored scales that were on here. I put a false flat edge on here once because they told me you should never fire a strike off the blade. And so I actually did that with a grinder, and I regret it. I should have never did that because I don't need a 90-degree spine. I would never throw sparks on the back, and I know there's people out there tell you that you have to and that's the way to do it. No, I will throw sparks on this little bitty speck of that blade right at the very back all day long like that. The sparks are better. It works 1,000 times better. It's not. I don't use that part of the blade for anything else anyway. I could care less. So for me, I wish I never did that. If you want to see a brand new SE4 and what they look like, I have another one. Now I've been using these so long. This is actually when SE was Rat before it was actually even SE, but it is the same thing. It is an RC4, same exact knife. Just one that's actually never been used yet. But you can see where I did that cut out of the spine right here, and on this one I didn't. But they come coated like that. I uncoat mine. Any of these knives that you see I buy SE, they will come with a coating like this, alright? They're going to come coated. And the coating is okay. It will eventually wear off. I prefer to remove it. So on any of these you're seeing, like this one, I cut the coating right here. I put zip stripper, paint stripper on here. I taped this off right where I wanted it to stop, and I stripped all that off of there, and then I actually did my own vinegar patina on these. I like the vinegar patina better because it protects for rust and it lets me get the smoothness of the blade for fine working and cutting. I do not like the feel of a coated knife when I'm cutting. I do not like this coating on there. It grabs, sticks, and holds, and I don't like it. So I take that off of every one of my 1095 knives that would have a coating. I get rid of it, even on the Becker BK2 coated. just like that. Mine, uncoated. This one I left raw. I did not, and you can, oh look, what's he mean? He's got a raw one and there's no rust on it. No, and all I do is I oil it once every year, but like I said, it lives in my car and it's still holding up with no rust in my truck. And then even that Rat 7, same thing, patina. Coating removed right there, so it still stays on the handle part, but removed from the blade, and patina done on the blade. That's the way I like them. But when you buy one, it is going to come with a coating on there. If you want to leave the coating on until it starts to wear and get ugly, then take it off. Whatever you want to do, choice is yours. But for me, I get rid of that coating immediately. And what's nice about the Essie, I can actually remove all of the scales and then take that whole coating off, which I did on this one. So there's no coating on any of this blade. You can do it any way you want to. But that SE4, awesome knife. Awesome, awesome knife. But even on the Bob, same thing. Now this one here did not come coated, it came stone washed, but as you can see, as I wore it off and started wearing that stone wash off of there, I just patinaed it. The patinas work incredible. They take seconds to do, and they are just flawless. So that kind of shows you. So I like 1095 knives for that. So, all right, we're gonna stop this for 1 sec, come right back, because I'm about to run out of camera. All right, sorry, I had to change the battery in the camera. But anyway, like I said, they're gonna come coated. If it's a 1095 knife, it's probably gonna come coated. You can leave it on, take it off, whatever you wanna do. I have videos that show you. I did one on an Azula a while ago, a couple years ago, on how to remove that coating. I've done videos on how to do a knife patina. That stuff is out there on my channel for you, and so many other people have it too, but very easy process. But definitely that SE4, fantastic knife, great knife. This one, like I said, actually goes with me a whole lot of places. I mean, this knife goes with me a whole lot of places when I'm in the woods. It's usually in my pack with me just because I do love it so much. It is a do-it-all, fantastic kind of knife. Now, takes us to the next one. Now there is an SE number 3. It is a fantastic knife too. I actually have one. It's not out here because it's not one of my favorites. It's actually my wife's favorite, but this one kind of fits that gap for me. This is a custom knife. This is made by Travis Styles right here in Michigan. And I usually shy away from custom knives. I'm not a fan of custom knives because, and I'm not trying to knock anybody out there, I don't know their heat treat process well enough to see how good they do. If they overheat it, it becomes brittle and I can't trust my life with it in the woods or have something happen if I need it in a survival situation. Where these other ones are much more controlled process and I trust it better. But Travis, I know him personally, and I seen him through the process of this and when he was making this and his other ones, and he does an incredible job. There's many other custom guys out there that do. I just, like I said, I don't know them all good enough to trust that as often. But with Travis, I do. I trust him. And this is 1095. I had him make it for me out of 1095. And it fits that place of an SE number 3 between an EDC and where you start getting into your wilderness and urban knives, where you go from the EDC category to this. This is on that level of EDC. Now, if I was going to use this as an EDC all the time, for my hand size, I got enough back here that I don't need to have this much tang. So, I mean, if I were to EDC this blade, which would be a great one for it, I would probably have Travis cut this back, lose these last 2 holes, round that off, and make that where I could actually choke up on that and use that like I would use it for an EDC knife and get rid of some of that handle. But it is a fantastic 1095 knife. His work, incredible, and I love it. It fits that perfect. Like I said, it is that zone of being the perfect size for a wilderness neck knife, perfect size for a hiking and backpacking knife that you want on your chest, which is how I usually have this set up. I have it set up as a neck knife where it rides right here like that, and I can get to it fast and easy. It's right there for any chore I need, and very quick and simple to put right back in. So it is a perfect little neck knife that hangs right there wherever I need it to be, and that's how I carry it. But I could also put this like I do on a dangler, like I have right here, and run it on a dangler and still carry that in my pocket. It is small enough in size that I would have no problem EDCing it. But if I were, like I said, I would probably have him shorten that handle. Because on an EDC knife, you're not using it for a long period of time. So you don't need the extra handle. It's okay to shorten it up because it's quick use. But this one fits, this one is perfect. It fits that right in that gap between carrying a actual wilderness or urban knife and an EDC knife, and I love this knife. And it's also, like I said, perfect for hiking, perfect for backpacking, perfect for that lightweight, simple design. It's not like you're out there bushcrafting with it. If I was, I would have had scales put on it and made it into a nice bushcraft knife. But it is your perfect companion knife like that, and I love the design of it. And Travis makes some incredible stuff. And I'll have a link down below for you to all of these, and I will have a link to his website as well too, and his info on Facebook where you can find out. But he builds incredible knives. In the detail work he puts in them, again, we're talking custom knife. Let me just kind of come around and show you here on this. But if you look at that, and I've done videos on this knife when I got it from him a year and a half ago, but just flawless attention to detail. Good jimping, custom jimping, all the way along, that stone wash. I don't know how he puts all this stuff in it. Now, it comes stone wash. Mine has been beat so many times and patinaed so much that it kind of looks a lot different than what most of them will. But again, I don't not use a knife. If I have a knife, I use it. It gets used and abused. As a matter of fact, if he watches this video, he's probably going to yell at me for the condition that this knife is in. But you know what? That's what I bought it for. I didn't buy it to be a safe queen. And all these knives I bought, I don't get anything for free, ever. So just something worth considering. But like I said, Travis builds some awesome knives. And this model here, I don't even know what he calls it, but this particular one fits perfectly where I need it to, and it's an awesome design. Now, moving on to the EDC category, okay? When it comes to EDC, you can expand some options. And the reason I say that is basically all of these knives that you're seeing here, from here to here, these are what I would consider woods and urban knives. In those situations, there are some traits that I need. One, I want it to be reliable. I don't want, when I say reliable, I mean I need to use it like the situation calls for me to use it and not worry about it breaking. I'm not going to worry about breaking this knife. If I broke that, it would be pretty shocking. I would have to be trying super hard to break this knife or doing something just ridiculously stupid to break it. So I know that this knife will hold up because of the 1095 steel, the predictability of it, the flexibility of it, the strength of it. All of the factors that I like in 1095 are here, along with the predictability that I know that this knife would never let me down. Same with any of these on here. They're not going to fail me, including Travis's here too. Like I said, even though it's a smaller one in shape and size, but this knife is not going to fail me. It is made out of my favorite 1095 steel. I watched the details of the heat treat. I know what he's done with this. I know it's differentially treated. It has good edge retention, but I know it is strong and will not fail on me. So that's the stuff that matters to me in these. Reliability, and also I want field sharpenable, which again, urban environments means that I might be using anything ceramic, a piece of, like I said, a back of a coffee cup. I might be using the top edge of a car window, a rock, something like that. If I need to put an edge on it, these will take that. If I'm in a field in the woods, I need to know I can sharpen it with my ceramic rod and my little leather strop that I'm using, or my bevel shot, or any of these little compact tools that I carry in my pack. I need to be able to put an edge on it. 1095 is super easy to sharpen, super reliable, super strong, and doesn't let me down. So they fit my majority of my knife need categories. There are other steels out there and lots of great ones. What else is nice about 1095 is it is very affordable. And everybody wants the new super steels. I have super steels. I understand that, but I would not, me personally, would not put a super steel knife in this category. That's just me. Don't get me wrong. Many people do, and I'm not saying you'll ever have a problem. But for me, if I'm putting my life on it, whether it's in the woods or in an urban environment, anything like that, I want 1095. Plain and simple, 1095. That's personal opinion only, so don't yell at me. Now, when we get into the EDC category, okay, actually, before I do that, let's talk about these. Again, I have other steels. This is a Doug Ritter Griptilian. They quit making this about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. They don't make it anymore, but this is out of SV30 steel, okay? Not a bad knife, you know, okay, but I'm not going to beat this folder like I'm going to beat one of these knives. It's just not going to happen. So I know the limitations of it, and you get the edge retention out of it. So it's okay to use in a knife like this, even though Doug Ritter is considered a survival guy. I would never try to survive with this knife. I don't think I would. Again, I don't trust this steel. I mean, you could be using it and it could snap if you're using it the wrong way. If you're batoning this through wood and you hit a knot the wrong way, you could break the steel. It's just brittle, a little more brittle and less predictable than 1095 is, in my opinion. Again, in a lot of people's opinion. But SV30, great steel, or S30V, but a pain in the butt to sharpen this. It takes a long time. This one's actually not that sharp. Why? Because I don't want to have to sharpen it. I'm tired of sharpening it, and I don't ever carry it, so I don't use it too much. You got Falls Knivens, or Falls Knivin. Great knife. Look at it. You can tell. beat the crap. Tip's been broke 3 times and reprofiled on there. This knife's been through the ringer. This is at whatever steel they use, and it's a laminated steel. And you know what? It's a great knife, and it's ultra lightweight. I do not trust it. Okay, I just don't trust it for the things I do because the steel is too brittle. The tip is broke twice. Both times just by dropping the knife and it snapping the tip off of it. So like I said, it's good, but it's not a survival steel for me. But again, fantastic knife. I don't know what military it is, Swedish maybe, but these guys rely on this knife. I understand that. I understand the beauty of it. It's just not one that it's not a steel that I want to deal with personally. And then you have, here's another one. This one right here, fantastic knife. And an EDC type knife. I wear it as a necker sometimes, but this is the White River, and this is also a S30V knife. It holds an edge incredibly well. I will give it that. It is a beautiful EDC design. And in an EDC style knife, I don't care too much about it, what steel it is, because I'm not going to use this size of a knife like I'm going to use any of these. Okay, this knife is basically cutting boxes, little chores, working animals over, skinning game, gutting things, processing meat, cutting up apples, everyday kind of stuff. So having a long-lasting edge design steel in this, in an EDC knife, fantastic option. Okay, it's why I actually own this one too. Good steel in an EDC knife. But this was my first S30V. And I hated sharpening it. This one, S30V, and I really don't care for sharpening it too much, but it is a fantastic design knife. There's no doubt about it. And an EDC size that you can carry. So I tend to gravitate still as far as favorites go, removing these out of here. Not that they're bad knives, but when it comes to EDC, I have a couple favorites. I got a Bradford Guardian 3 on me right now in a custom design sheath that I made with pins on there. There'll be a review coming out on that pretty soon, but I haven't carried enough to know. But I love this. This is M390. I really like this steel a lot. I really like the M390. And it's holding up very good, and I've been carrying it for actually almost a week and a half now, and I've been very impressed with it, and I like the knife a lot. But it hasn't been, or I haven't used it enough to qualify it as a favorite. The stuff on here has been used for years, so I qualify it as favorites. SC Azula. Okay, this is the Azula that I made about a year ago, actually about probably 6 months ago, that I actually was carrying up until I went to the Bradford, which I've been carrying for a while. But this SC Azula, completely stripped. I've done videos on it. This knife is insanely incredible. That's that one. This one here is actually the one I've been carrying for 10 straight years. You can hear it a little loose in there because this thing has been sharpened so many times and thinned out, but 10-year-old knife that I carried every day for basically 10 years, and it is flawless. Okay, 1095 steel again, so it is stripped and patinaed, but it's just an incredible knife, and I trust it. 1095 steel, fast and easy to sharpen, but an awesome knife. Now, when you look at a brand new Azula, here's a brand new one that I bought many years ago as well too. I just never got around to using yet. They come coated, so you may want to strip it off of there. And then if you look at the sheath design, this is what the sheaths look like when you buy them. Here is how either one of these, this is how I set up my sheath when I get it for EDC carry. You can see I strip it down right here, thin it out, and I'll have more details on this, but it makes a perfect EDC knife. But SC Azula, great one. As you can tell, I got 3 of them sitting right here. I straight up love them. Another great one, the Little Tops MSK 2.5. This is an excellent little knife. Fantastic, little smaller in size than what you're getting out of an Azula. Okay, but about the same size in actually blade-wise would be a titch longer than that Azula is. Right there, as you can see. A little shorter on the handle side, as you can see right there, and a little thinner profile, but it is a fantastic little knife. Again, 1095 out of that. That's a I really like 1095 steel, and apparently so do a lot of companies because it's a very popular one. And I really like the heat treat that SE and Tops do on their 1095 knives, so I've been very happy with it. But that's another fantastic little EDC size knife. Can't go wrong with either one of these. If I had to choose between these, I'm probably going with the Azula just because I have so much time with it and I love it. And when I'm working with a knife, this one is great. Again, very EDC in the aspect of cutting boxes, eating an apple, you know, that kind of stuff, you know, whatever you got, we do every single day with a knife for most people, that is going to fit the bill. For me, the Azula takes the same concept, but just this one here I think gives me a better handle control. I like the fatter blade and a shorter blade like this. I really like the design, and I'm not afraid to take this to a little more, push the limits of it a little more, because again, I have a lot of time with it. You know, over 11 years of using one of these, tried and true and proven, and I don't think you can go wrong with an Azula as an everyday carry knife for that. So that kind of shows you. And the Azula, you can also put scales on it if you want to. I don't need to, because again, it's an EDC knife, but you could. You can buy extra sheaths, so if you're trying to do something like I did and you were to screw it up and grind that too small, you can buy a spare one, or if you ever needed to, they're dirt cheap to buy. So gives you a lot of options, but these are why these are my favorites. This is why this stuff matters to me. And you will notice that trend at $10.95 being through the majority of this. But again, in an EDC, if you want to go to an S30V like you're seeing on one of these knives, or even a 390 like you're seeing on the Guardian, you know, there's nothing wrong with those on an EDC knife, because I don't expect this to take the abuse that these are gonna. And edge retention in an EDC knife is a nice thing, because I only have to sharpen it at home, where these might have to be sharpened in the field. So, but this just goes to show you why some of these are my absolute favorites and what I really like about them. So hopefully it helps you. Hopefully it shows you some neat things, or you learn something from it. And if you got any questions, put them in a comment below. And thanks for watching. There will be links below for each of these styles, so you can check them out for yourself, see the prices on them, and you know, if you're interested in any, I'll put all that stuff down below for you. So thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.